Magandang tanghali. Welcome po sa ating press briefing with Chief Presidential Legal Counsel and Spokesperson Salvador Panelo dito sa Beijing, China in connection with the official visit of President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Magandang tanghali, Secretary Panelo.
Magandang tanghali. Salamat.
Henry?
Sir, may we know the highlights of the presidential visit of our president here in China? Ano yung mga nakalatag, nakahanay na pag-uusapan kung meron na po tayong impormasyon?
Ang alam ko, bukas merong bilat. Tapos merong opening ng basketball. Yun lang ang alam ko. Yun lang naman naka-schedule talaga bukas.
Yung sa bilateral, meron na bang talagang confirmed or focused na pag-mimitingan nila ni President Xi Jinping?
Wala ako nakitang nakalatag doon, pero since sinabi na ni Presidente yung gusto niyang erase, yun ang i-erase niya.
Ano po yung chance or may chance ba na hindi rin nila mapag-usapan yung tungkol sa arbitral ruling?
Ayan, sinabi na ni Presidente na i-erase niya. He will raise it.
Whether
Whether or not. Whether or not the China likes it or not. But I think China will have an open ears. After all, they kept on saying that we're friends. And friends can always talk on anything. Moreover, I think it's about time really they talk about it, since if the concern is maritime security and peace in the region, then they really have to talk. Because that has been the cause of some irritants between the two countries as well as other countries who have claims.
So just in case President Xi Jinping did not raise the issue, our president will initiate the talks
yes.
about...
The president will raise that.
All right.
Directly ask him that.
Okay, sir.
Pia?
Sir, the DFA said that this visit is upon the invitation of Chinese President Xi. So what does China want to achieve from this visit, sir?
We have to ask China. What I know is this invitation was given by China to the president.
Do you have any idea, sir, behind this invitation, considering that the president has just visited here last April?
I really don't know. You know, you must remember that, yeah, apart from the FIBA watching of the basketball game, you must remember that these two have developed friendship on a personal basis. And that could be one of the reasons why he was invited to come here.
Sir, besides addressing the irritants that you mentioned a while ago, what other things does the president want to
The
achieve?
joint exploration is on top of his agenda.
How about
He wants that.
COC, Code of Conduct?
The what?
Code of
Oh,
Conduct.
that one too. In fact, he mentioned three. One, the arbitral ruling, the code of conduct, and then the joint exploration.
MPC? Again, balik tayo kay Pia.
Sir, speaking of the joint exploration, can you confirm, sir, that both governments will be working on the composition of the joint team that will study the possible exploration in the South China Sea?
Well, I'm sure there will be teams that will be organized with both countries to thresh out the terms.
But will the composition of that team be worked upon during this visit, sir?
Ay, hindi ko alam. Hindi ko pa alam yan.
All right, sir.
Joseph? Question? Alexis?
Realistically, what can we expect na ma-achieve after that bilateral meeting with President Xi? Ano yung pinaka-realistic na pwedeng ma-attain after the talk?
We do not know how China will take it, but I suppose as I said earlier, they're open to that. Whether they like it or not, they really have to talk about it because it's causing irritants between the two countries.
So wala tayong inaasahan baka agreement ba or at least in principle mapagkasunduan?
Hindi natin alam yan. Siyempre, we'll have to wait for the two presidents to discuss and agree.
Alexis, somewhere. Joseph?
So when you say irritants, what do you mean?
Come again?
When you say irritants, what do you mean? And
the,
how do you see this?
The irritants, we refer to the Red Bank incident. We refer to the when our fishermen are being driven away, when warships pass through our territorial waters without us knowing it.
Do you think that it has some bearing on the public perception of President Duterte?
No, I don't think so. The president has repeatedly told us it doesn't matter to him the reaction of certain quarters with what he does. He knows his job as president of this country, and he knows that the directive of the Constitution is to serve and to protect the people. Underlying principle by which he performs all the acts so far done by him and attributed to him.
So I understand there's a restricted meeting between President Xi and President Duterte, meaning just the two of them, right?
I do not know about that. Initially, I thought it was a one-on-one, and then I was told that it will be a bilateral meeting.
So how would you describe the trip in terms of the relationship between China and the Philippines, and given what you call the irritants, how important is this trip that he's going to make later, and in terms of maybe pushing our position or something?
I suppose the relationship should improve. It should strengthen. You must remember that the relationship between these two countries are not dependent alone on the West Philippine Sea issue. There are so many issues that we can agree on: the trade relations, the people-to-people exchange, the cultural exchanges, and many others that is mutually beneficial to both countries.
Thank you, Joseph. Hannah?
Sir, just for the record, will this be the first time that President Rodrigo Duterte will be raising the issue about the arbitral ruling po?
I don't think so, because I remember the last time he did that.
So, ano po yung magiging difference now that he was already, na-raise niya naman before?
Well, siguro, the last time was more of an implied raising of the issue. This time, he will raise it directly with the president.
Sakaling hindi pa rin kilalanin po ng bansang China, what will, ano po yung maging next move po ng pamahalaan?
Well, we have the mechanism on negotiation, so we'll have to use that. Again, the president, and from what I hear from the president of China in his talks before, that China is always open to discussion and talks on and negotiation.
In terms of negotiation po, sir, kasi previous, sir, di ba may mga discussion na tayo, kaya na pinangunahan po ng ambassador ng Philippines, si Santa Romana po. Ano na po yung naging development ng discussion nila?
I haven't talked with Ambassador Chito with respect to that. I think you should directly ask him that.
Okay, sir.